Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the SRC podcast. Joining me, Big M, as always, the one and only Double R, Mr. Rob Rees, and John Bucky Harris. Good evening, my friends. How are we?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. It's some good fixtures to talk about this week, John, isn't
Oh yeah, on that note,
Oh,
it? Hey,
he's
I need
this
to
is
already
the
prepare for
counting
this.
SRC
down.
I need
podcast.
to prepare for this week. But
Full
yeah,
beers.
good, all good.
Okay.
Didn't I didn't get to see it, but I was in Cardiff having a nice all day. I went to watch wrestling instead.
Well, that's what it was. No John around, so why bother perform? That's what I viewed at least.
Hmm.
Oh well. So apologies
16th
for
man.
16th. You probably needed
You
about
fucking
another
need a few more than
30th
16.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Apologies for last week. A bit of a family emergency. My end. One of my little girls decided to take a bump on the head and start throwing up everywhere. So yay, fun. That was a nice couple of days for me sorting that out. But now we're back and we've got some lovely rugby to talk about. So we'll always start with our wonderful, wonderful TV game that we get every single week, usually on a Thursday.
Mhm.
Carmarthen Quins at home to Cardiff. And if you listen to this, I'm assuming you already know the result. So, Cardiff, walking away 31-26 winners. It was, I don't know how to explain this to people that don't watch rugby a lot because there's so many different elements to this game. Because this game it was very similar to one we saw a few weeks ago, where it was very intense. There was a lot of kicking battles, trying to fight that territory, and it's when it's hard to explain to someone that doesn't appreciate it or who doesn't generally like that style of play, how good this actually is, what you're actually seeing, how these kicks are creating space, how they're moving players around, making you run back and forth, just different things. And in all fairness, Cardiff won that battle in a lot of places during this game. But the one thing that stood out for me, Quinn's end, was their defense. Now, I was so proud of those boys. The way they defended for majority of that game. There must have been at least 4 or 5 times that Cardiff were deep in the 22, and they defended like hell, and they held them out. Which that's not common when you're playing against Cardiff. They tend to be incredibly clinical, which is absolutely you know it just shows how good you're defensive if you're holding off a team that likes to score tries for fun. John, will
Hmm.
come on to the opposite for you in a bit,
Oh,
but yeah,
Consume.
so So
no more
nice little.
dicks now. I'm too fragile. I can't cope with them this week. Just wait until we at least get to that game.
Okay.
This is
So
one of those episodes, and we're going to crowbar Aberravon into every fixture somehow.
we do it quite often, so why not? So yeah, hat trick of tries for Callum Woolley. He doesn't get to play that much for Quinn, so it was great seeing him take that opportunity. He's a big lad, mind. He's quite a few inches over 6 foot. He's quite broad, powerful. You can just that first try at the end of the first half to draw up at 7-all. When, let's be honest, Quins had done nothing in attack for those first 40 minutes. It was just a moment. I can't remember who it was that was meant to be collecting that ball for Cardiff, but he let the ball bounce. And, Woolley, he retrieved his own kick and he went into the corner. So it was great. And the momentum sort of swifted a lot in the second half. I don't know if you boys feel the same about that, but it got to a point where Quins took the lead. I think it was 26-24. And I was like, yes,
Hmm.
we're holding on. It's on like 7-8 minutes to go. I was thinking, this is it. We've taken the lead. We got momentum. And then they just capitulated. I think it was like 2 individual errors, 2 missed tackles. And I think it was Tom Williams that got that score. And it broke me. It really did. Because I've literally done none of my usual stuff for this podcast over the last few days. I normally get all the try scorers, make sure all the tables and all stuff are ready. I've done nothing because I've been hurting. So I'll let you boys take over from this. Rob?
You know what?
Hurting or drinking?
Yeah. He's not an Aberravon supporter.
Tis the season.
Nah, do you know what? It was a bit of a slow burner at times. I felt at times in that first half, Cardiff couldn't put Quins away, and it was ebbing and flowing between a game that was going somewhere and a game that was looking like being the first poor televised game we were going to have. And then the second half was just completely different. I mean, Wooly scored a hat trick and not taking man of the match. Absolute travesty that is. And they were three bloody good tries. But I think this came down to a couple of things. I think Quinn's up front had the leverage that I was expecting them to, and I'll be honest, I found them disappointing given the home track and and all of that. But what was disappointing was, as you say, when they're 26-24 up towards the end, is the game management. And we've mentioned this quite a bit this season. It's a young squad and a young halfback pairing. You make a couple of mistakes and Cardiff score, but it was one of those games you still felt Quins were going to bounce back and have an opportunity. And they had two around the advantage towards the end. And for some reason, they just thought after two or three phases that they were going to launch it wide, and it just wasn't on. The men weren't there. It was rushed. It wasn't like they built up to it and did a smart play, and it cost them the game. Ultimately it did. And you just have to feel that that's where Quins are this season. It's just that little bit of experience putting teams away.
Yeah.
And that's been the same even when they've been winning. They haven't put a team away this season. They haven't really gone into someone and gone, fucking hell, that's a 5-pointer convincing, that's a 6-pointer drubbing. And this is one of those games they had an opportunity where they were underneath the posts for over a minute with an advantage and they still couldn't make it pay. And it's frustrating because the bastards cost me 100% predictions for the round. But, we go on.
We go on. Yeah, it is a key point that we do come back to it, but it has to be said that I wasn't too happy then toward, once obviously we conceded that try at the end, to go 31-26 down, and then we swapped our nine, sorry, and we brought on Bowen Clark, who he's a first year senior rugby, brilliant talent, but he has played minimal SRC minutes, and you're talking these are a vital few minutes in a game that is balancing on a teeter, and you put someone like that in that position, but you've also then got someone who's only in his second season of men's rugby at 10. So you're thinking there's no game management at halfback, and that's why we didn't see Quins actually getting that score to either draw or win the game in our last few play, because you could just see it. They would all think they were sort of, there's only a couple of minutes left, we got to do something, and you can see the younger boys where that does affect them. And it was just unfortunate that it was them in that position. It's going to be other boys in other positions for other teams in years and years to come. It's always going to be the same, but it was just unfortunate it was them in this instance. So, John, what do you make of this one? We've talked about Quins. What about Cardiff? Anything good about Cardiff other than they managed to get the win?
Well, they'll be happy with that when they. It's hard not to talk about Quins because they've had such a good season, and I think it says a lot for them that they probably, considering where they were last year, and they play in the team that finished top of the league last season and are finding their form again. To be disappointed that they haven't beaten Cardiff with a bonus point, which I think it shows how far Quins have come this season. That's probably where that, like you said, the game management is coming in a little bit, but they've still, compared to last season, you can see where they've kicked on and they've picked up. No, maybe not put teams away, but they're picking up these wins. And it's 2 bonus points. They probably would have taken that at the start of the season. They said, when Cardiff come down now, we have 2 bonus points. We'll take that. So it shows it's good on them. And their defence is bloody good, mind. I see that first down when they come down to us, and that was what won them the game. Their defence was so good. But yeah, when you play someone like Cardiff, they will find that way. If they're still in the game with a sniff at the end, they've got that quality and know how to find that way to win the game. But it's going to, Quins will learn from this. And I think they'll still be, when they look back at it, they'll still be pretty happy with the performance. But it'll also be good that they'll be disappointed they haven't beaten Cardiff, who were a top 4 side.
Yeah, I think the main thing that Quins will take from this as well is that there are a number of first 15 boys not available. We've spoken about, young Karen Leggett-Jones stepping up this season. Steph Evans wasn't available for this game. Hopefully he'll be back. Rodri Davis, we haven't seen him for a little while at 9. A pair of halfbacks that do have a tremendous effect on this team. But like you said, you move on. I think it's 7 points in total against Cardiff this season compared to 5 last. So it's progress, and you take progress wherever you can. So I'm saying I don't know if this is progress for you, Rob, but Ebbw Vale 47-15 against Bridgend. Did you? I'm assuming you got the 6-pointer against them last season at home.
We got the 6-pointer against them last season, home and away. And we've done it again this year. Have it, Martin. Have it. The only team out of our teams that we can rely on these days is Ebbw Vale. And I'll be honest, the game started with everyone going, oh, fucking hell. Because Bridgend shoved us off the scrum twice.
No way.
And yeah, no one was expecting that. But yeah, it was a bit of a weird opening, to be honest, because Bridge were sort of developing some progress in areas you wouldn't necessarily expect them to. And like I said, that surprisingly disrupts a team. But the problem yet again for them is they couldn't sustain it. Penalties eventually started to come. There was a few changes up front in the front row, and I mean there was a few changes from the start in 23, if I'm honest. And they just turn the screw. You go in, you grab a couple of tries before half time, and it just changes the complexion of a match. You never then felt in the second half. I'll be honest, Bridge had one attack in the second half, and that was about it. Everything else was all Ebbw Vale possession. The set piece started to get on top. The maul was working. Another hooker scores a hat trick. Obviously, this time it's Joe Franchi because Morris is out injured for a couple of weeks. So it's one of those ones. I think you walk away happy with how it goes. It wasn't a very well rounded performance, and it was disrupted quite a bit, I'll be honest, at times with scrappy play, penalties, injuries. But yeah, it was a big game for Ebbw Vale, more in the Bridge end of the side that they get into Ebbw Vale quite nicely, if that's the term. They get stuck in and just bring a bit of a broken up game, and it removes a set piece unless you really get into it. So they've worked hard there, and it's a bit of a transition game, I feel, because Ebbw Vale's next fixtures are the Christmas derbies and then Llandovery game on the TV. So it's very much one of those you think, right, this is not a gimme game. Let's get through it. You got to give some boys game time. Change it round because you've got some big games coming up. And yeah, I think in the end, scoring 47, and I'd be honest, it would have been more, but because of injuries, they ended up playing nearly 15 minutes with 14 men at the end because they'd run up the subs. I mean, Morgan Williams went off and came back on in the front row. So it's very much one of those games that it's probably unfair to say Bridgend got a bit lucky that the scoreline was more, but you feel there was another try or two in that game if Ebbw Vale stay at 15 men.
Yeah.
Rather than just one try.
Those are always difficult circumstances to manage. We've spoken about Bridgend, and their pack being an issue all last season, and we keep saying it, they've recruited well, but it seems as if, even if it was only for a brief period, that they showed it at the start of this game. And 19-10 at half time, that's respectable when you go into Ebbw Vale, being within a few scores. And I know it's 47-15 to finish, but that does only make it, what was it, 28-5 in the second half. That's 4 tries to 1 in 40 minutes against Ebbw Vale. When, let's be honest, Bridgend are not in any great form. They've really struggled this season, which obviously has taken quite a few by surprise. So, commendable performance by them. John, you like watching the highlights. What anything that stuck out for you in this one, but
just how the hell do you stop this flipping Ebbw Vale driving maul, innit? Like like Rob said, another hat trick for a hooker. I'd love to see how many tries they'll have scored this year if you just take hookers out of their try scoring list. But it's just frightening, isn't it? Because everyone knows what they're going to do, but it's also not just the maul, but their kicking game is so good that because they get them, and the pressure that they put on teams, that they force these penalties to get these to get the territory in the first place, to get score from these mauls, because that's what they seem to do as well, is they keep getting in these positions in 22s where they can set these mauls up, and then this one thing knowing is coming is another thing stopping it, and it just seems like nobody can stop it once it gets going. I think Bridgend will be disappointed. Like you said, they're not in any great form. They started the season like really well and really positively, I thought, compared to last year. And so I think the way they've dropped off is, I think they'll be disappointed with it, because their pack has been better this year, which was a big weakness last year. I didn't see the scrums, but if they've pushed Everville up a couple of scrums, then clearly they're doing something well there. Another, I think, fair play to Evan Lloyd as well. Just a personal thing for him. He's come away with, I think, 17 points from that game as well, 6 conversions and a try. Another defence of the SRC Challenger Shield, the massively important trophy that we all forget to mention. Not taking a mick, of course. But yeah, there's this job done in it. If you're Ebervale, you should be getting 6 points when the bottom half teams come up to you, and it should. At the moment, that's 8. I think that's 8 6-pointers they've had this season so far. It's ridiculous. Bridgend stuff to work on again, but you've got to take it into context. Nobody goes up to Ebervale at the moment and wins there. That's where they've had that flipping shield for over nearly a year and a half. So it's just job done for Ebervale, and it's just got to regroup now for Bridgend. You've got to use these, try and get something over Christmas now to go into the new year and try and find that form where they started the season so well.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to. It's the Christmas derbies. We saw last season that Swansea, reinvigorated their season by winning their first game. That was at obviously Aberavon's expense.
Oh, where was that then? Was it? Where was that against Denmark? Go on.
Oh, there we go.
Literally crowbarring in every game now. Here we go. I see how it's going.
I'm just saying, these Christmas derbies are vitally important. They can change your fortunes. We're just past that halfway point now of the season. These 2 games, whether there's 2 wins or, somehow manage to get 12 points out of it, that's an absolute huge swing at this point. And it set you on for the cup and then obviously the final run in. So that's going to be really interesting on how every team takes this. So onto the game that John absolutely wanted to discuss first thing, and he didn't want to discuss anything else. So Newport against Aberavon. So 52 points to 5 was the second half score to Newport. Okay. So how do you feel about conceding, 76? I mean, wow. You beat Newport at home.
Not good. Beat them. Yeah, not good, Matt, to be honest.
It must have been 10 points, though.
I've been thinking all week what I'm going to say about this game, and I don't really know it. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't at it because I was in Cardiff all day with my brother. But I was having the Twitter notifications coming up, and it just surprised how many kept coming through. And I was like, what was worrying me was how high the score was getting with still 40 minutes and half an hour to go. It was like, well, we're already into 40, 50 points. We had an hour and there's half an hour left. So I was getting a bit worried. I don't know how they've capitulated like this. I mean, this isn't good enough, because if it was only a month or so ago, it felt like we were starting to find some form and string a couple of wins together, and looked like we were about to kick on and things were starting to click. And now it's just gone very wrong the last 4 games now. But it's the points they conceded. No, it was 40 odd against Edward Vale as well. Jen, I don't even know what to say because we expect so much more because we know this team is so much better than that performance. That's why it winds us up because when we see them play and they play well, we know what they're capable of. They didn't send. I'm not going to say they sent a second string to Newport because they didn't, but it wasn't the first choice team, so maybe a first and a half. But so there were some key players not starting this one. We parted ways with the forwards coach Nick White the week before, bringing in ex-second row Sam Williams, who was a quality player for us for 10 plus years. So there is that little bit of disruption, but it shouldn't equate to conceding 76 points against, as you say, a team that we've beaten this season. And even read from the Newport supporters themselves on Facebook saying, they even said when we came down to you dominated us. So I think they were surprised as we were that they've come up with this score. And it just doesn't sound, from what I've heard from people's comments and talking to people, that they just haven't turned up for this game apart from Ashton Evans at number 8. As always, there wasn't anybody else picked out from this game. They just seemed. I really don't even know what the defense weren't great. Again, I can't even say important. Usually, it was conceding in important moments, but this just got blown away. You can't 8 tries in a second half. You can't concede 8 tries in one half, and just completely throw in the towel. And they don't normally do that. That's why it's so disappointing and frustrating. This isn't coming from wanting to slag anyone off and kick them when they're down. This is because me and the sports care. We care, yeah. This hurts because we know the boys are better than that. But I'm sure they'll be hurting more than anyone. But Newport have clearly found their groove after that poor start, and they look back to their championship best as well. So it kind of seems to be a perfect storm. We're dipping, Newport are coming back up, and with some serious questions I probably got asked on the Monday and some serious video work looking at this one.
Yeah, so need to make 2 points really, really clear by first one is Newport champions. They are fully back where they are now. First 5 games they lost on a terrible run, whatever. The next 5 games, except for Llandovery, they're back. They're firing on all cylinders, especially with this win. You talk about your last few games not being at the best. You've played the 3 best teams in the league, and I believe the game before that was against Quins, who were fighting for that 4th, 5th place. So you're not exactly.
They put them second when they beat us. So
yeah, I'm just talking relative strength for the season. I was going so far. So it's not as though you're facing. You're not facing 10th, 7th, 9th. You are facing what seemed to be the cream of the crop in this league, at least. Definitely, those 3, Ebbw Vale, Llandovery and Newport, we know they are always going to be there. So it's nothing to be disheartened by losing to them. Scoreline wise, you just got to, you won the first game against Newport. You don't have to think about Newport in the league ever again now, unless you come up against them in playoff. So I just get rid of this. Wouldn't even stick in the back of the mind. I literally pull it out through the year, chuck it in the bin, set it on fire, then shovel the ashes into the bloody sea.
Just to write this one off.
Bloody miles. Yeah, you don't even think this game doesn't even obviously you got to put it on your records, but that's all it does. You literally simply. I wouldn't even put a match report out for this. There we go. We were shit. End of, and just move on. So. Rob, obviously no great news for, you being in that Gwynthil area. Someone else is coming to fight you again. How, as good as it is to see Newport back to their best, obviously, we still got a derby to come soon.
I'm not worried, Martin. I'm not worried at all. If...
we'll clip that.
Yes.
We'll clip that one.
Yeah, I'm not worried at all. I'm not worried. Hang on, if we do Eclipse, I'm very worried, Martin. I just go back and edit what I need. No, I think Newport are in their groove. Obviously, they took the Ebervale fixture to bring the best out in them, and that's obviously what's happened there. But yeah, they are. This is one of those fixtures that Newport have hit their clinical best, and it's one of those days you have typically once every 5-10 years where you literally put 70, 80 points on a team in the top division. It doesn't happen very often at all. But Aberavon had one of those days where they give up pretty much. It doesn't matter what anybody says. When you're conceding 76 points, it becomes a fucking bleep test of running between underneath your own goalposts and the halfway line, basically. That's what it becomes. And yeah, it is good to see that they're still fighting at the end, grabbed 5 points, but ultimately it's one of those ones. You're pretty much right, Matt. I can't see him doing much with this. You can't take a lot of stuff out of this because if you spent all your days trying to resolve what you did wrong, you'd be until fucking Christmas next year. So it's like you basically go how was the coaches and knowing that how structured and disciplined Jason and the team are down there, they'd be straight in and they'd be working hard and doing other things. But it's almost something you have to punish out of your mind. You go down there and you have a fucking physical gym session, you have a physical, contact session on the field, but you're not doing it to right the wrongs because ultimately the defense has collapsed. You set pieces all over the place. You can't piece an attack together. So you haven't got the time to rectify all of that. It's more, boys, this is how it feels to lose by 66 points. Don't make it happen again. So yeah, I think there's a lot of context around the last 4 fixtures are, Newport's, Ebu, Llandovery and Quins. But it is disappointing because I think we even said on you that around the Pontypool game where they picked up a win away and we were going, do you know what? Aberavon are starting to look like they're rumbling, getting going. They've had a few players back. And they're being a bit inconsistent again. One game they put in a solid performance. Then there's a bit of game management, which you'd expect from such a young squad. But you just feel that this is probably a 3-year project. That's what most teams and coaches will say. And this is effectively year 2. So I think you got to judge them on how much progress they make. Ultimately, we won't know until May or April, depends on how the playoffs go for them. But this is a massive next 18 months for everybody at Aberavon because if they can't get a side that's full of local young talent working in 3 years, all of a sudden that's a failure of the club, of everybody. Are you identifying incorrectly? Is the talent not there? Are you not getting the best out of it? Are the players not turning a good coaching setup in? And there's plenty of teams that have chosen to go young and developed in a couple of years. Quins are sort of on that sort of cusp. Ebervale did it. They went, stripped it all back. Like Ebervale, within the last 5 years, have sat bottom of that table and finishing just above. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of teams out there that are dealing with a young squad. Llandovery are effectively in transition. I'm not saying that's a young squad by any means, but especially up front, they're in a transition phase. So yeah, I think this is one of them ones. I think Aberavon need a set of Christmas derbies, a bit of light the fire in their belly and try and get something going because at the moment they're looking a bit lost.
And that is where we will leave Aberavon and the tremendous Newport. So on to the next game from this past weekend. RGC hosting Pontypool. We all were taken by surprise when RGC won the reverse fixture down at Pooler Park. I think it was 23-14. And RGC have done the double over Pontypool. I mean, I don't think that would have been on many people's bingo cards. I don't even think people would have even thought to put RGC doing double over many teams, let alone one that finished 5th last season. So 26-12, RGC win the game, 19-12 at half time up. So, not a high scoring affair that we're used to from RGC, but holding Pooler out in the second half and just hold them to 2 tries when we know RGC have got a lot of defensive frailties that they need to work through. So, I mean, I know there's I don't want to say a lot of issues at Pontypool at the minute, but they've taken on, Chief. They've trying different things, and I know I said a couple of weeks ago it's too early to judge, but we're now what 2-3 weeks into that process, and to be going against RGC, who are well known for not being a structured defensive team, to only get the 2 scores and to be held pointless in that second half is quite an indictment. Rob, John's spoken quite a fair bit in the last few minutes, so let's bounce back to you.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird game. It's also a weird result because it's RGC's fourth win of the season, and yet they're first at home. And as you say, there's 38 points in this game. Normally, it's 38 points for each side. So again, a bit of an anomaly there. But Poole will be kicking themselves over this. I've spoken to quite a few people and seen a bit of the match. And Pontypool have spooned a lot of chances in this game. Realistically, there's at least 2 or 3 good opportunities there for them. And you only need to convert 2 of those for that to be a level game, right? Scott Matthews, absolutely immense again. Carrick McDonough on the wing, good. Morgan Lloyd's outstanding, great try as well. I think there's a bit of a battle this week between Evan and Morgan in that household in terms of who could score the better solo try. So that one was absolutely superb. And I'll be honest, I'm quite surprised at how he's not involved in the Dragon setup, given he's in a struggling Pontypool team. And he's putting in man of the match performances every fucking week. So it's one of those. I think RGC will be pleased that they have held Pontypool out, and I think that's probably a bit of both. I think Pontypool will be disappointed they haven't put them away, but RGC will definitely be taking this as a big one. One is a double. 2, it'll kickstart this campaign at home. It always sort of does. You always need that. They got a home game at Christmas, which is always beneficial to them because obviously they travel at that time of year and a big crowd that comes with the Christmas games. And yeah, I'll be honest, for the first time, I think we're starting to see RGC put a bit of form together. Maybe they are starting to look good. They've got a couple of wins on the bounce. Obviously, beat Cardiff away the week before. They're not winning these games back to back and very often. And yeah, what a time to do it. So I think with Chiefs arrival's a difficult one. I think there's some big problems. The lineup was a little bit better. The scrum is still a massive problem, and the centre partnership is still an issue. The distribution, the defence, the fitness. There's question marks around several areas there. They can't say that they're an inexperienced team. They're probably one of the more experienced teams. They've got a good coaching setup. Obviously, Tom Hancock's come from Llandovery, and been one of their most successful periods in terms of Llandovery. Chief is, I mean, yeah, Chief wins with teams with money, right? He won with Pont, he won with Brecon, but ultimately, he's been in a successful side a lot, even back in his playing days. So they've got a solid coaching setup. They've got a solid squad. Like I said, we highlighted many times where their weaknesses were in the transfer market. And they're probably very similar boat to Aberavon, I'll be honest, where they're going into a set of Christmas derbies with nothing to lose. Ebervale's probably going to have all the pressure on them, all the expectation. And Pontypool are gonna bring it down a level. It's going to be an old-fashioned, gritty Gwent derby, trying to get niggly up front. And that's probably, can they light that fire? Can they get a bit of accuracy going? Can they do something that sparks a bit of a revival? Because Pontypool for 3 or 4 years now have been that team in fifth. They've been much better than the teams below them. A couple 2 to 3 wins better, but also that 2 or 3 wins not as good as the 3, 4 teams above them. So it's frustrating, but I think Pontypool will definitely be disappointed that they've not taken anything out of this game with the amount of chances and possession and territory they've had.
Yeah, it is an awkward one for both teams, really. When you're looking at what RGC have got to come as well, if they're developing now, it's possibly the worst pair of fixtures to have at Christmas. But that's something that we will come on to a little bit later on. Final game from this round was Llandovery travelling to face Swansea, and if I'm remembering rightly, none of us backed Swansea for this one. Like, obviously, we we had to do a slightly different. Oh no, someone did.
I think
Someone
I did. Yeah, I
back
think I went
Swansea.
for all homes. Yeah, so yeah.
Oh, John.
Yeah, you did. Wow, what a decision that was. Because obviously, I don't know.
At least you got the Aberravon
It's,
result, right?
Yeah. That's what I get for having faith.
oh wow, but yeah, I mean, I think like Swans, we've been so impressed by Swansea early doors that this is kind of a disappointment for me. The 15-0 down in the first half, and then to lose 32-5. It was a comfortable 6-pointer for Llandovery, and they've been too far and few between for the Drovers this year. They like Rob has already mentioned, they seem to be transitioning slightly with a lot more younger players being brought into the 23. So I know you got the caveat of some of the under-20s boys and all there. I know, I think Lewis Edwards was playing against Scotland. I think he got injured in the first half, so I haven't heard much on that yet, so we'll report that as soon as we can. But it's not great looking for Swansea, when you're supposed to be you're pushing on. If we were talking last season, you're like, yeah, this is really a normal result, but not the Swansea we've seen this season. They've been packing punches. They've been, even when they've taken losses, they've been getting a few hits in at least, and it just didn't seem like there was any of that there in this game. So, John, taking it away, but what's your opinion by you? Is this just Drovers being too good, or is Swansea lacking a little bit at the minute?
It's probably a bit of both, isn't it? Because Swansea have been so good this year. They've definitely kicked on from last year, but again, it feels like that top four from last year are all starting to find their form again now after a couple of them having slower starts. But it seems like that, Everville, Newport, Cardiff, Llandovery are starting to converge again and look like they might end up pulling away from everybody else again. Another 6 points for Llandovery. I think that's what it is. More than Swansea not turning up is just Llandovery are really finding their feet again now. That's 4 on the bounce for them. And they're starting to score the points that they would normally score in these games. I won't rabbit on too much on this one, but just think, like you said with Aberravon, you play in the top sides in the league, so maybe this is the ones you don't have to. Maybe don't worry about these too much, because that top 4 look like they are going to come back together and get away from everyone again by the end. Well, by the end of the regular league, so maybe Swansea want to just write this one off now. Look forward to the double header against Aberravon over the Christmas holidays, but because those are 2 games they can win. I hope they don't, obviously, but they'll know that they can, and they know if we can get 2 wins over Christmas now, then we can go into the new year looking pretty healthy. They're still a massive improvement over last season with 4 wins and a draw, after 10 games. So they've still got a lot of positives they can look at. So yeah, I think just chalk this one off to we've played one of the best teams in the league and who are finding brilliant form. We'll just go again next week. Now we've got another home game on Friday night. Let's just refocus on that and go again.
Yeah. So, Rob, final word on last week's games. Is this just more Drovers finding that 4th, 5th gear again, or was this more of a Swansea downfall?
I think it's a bit of both. Llandovery were very accurate. 15-0 at half time. It was comfortable. They're clinical. Again, they've changed it up in this fixture. But Swansea have gone into a bit of a rut again. They've sort of reverted back to where they were last year. And I'll be honest, this is a disappointing performance because it's 27 points. You're at home, and given where they were 2 months ago, you were going, oh, hang on a minute. Could Swansea be, it was Swansea or Quins as who was going to be the outside bet sort of thing. And Swansea completely fallen away, really. I know, they've picked up a result, in the last game against Cardiff, but they reverted back to a bit of a sloppy side, and Lander, we've cut them to pieces, to be honest. They dominated up front, got that platform and built from there. And like I said, it's a big one for Landover after turning around a 16-point deficit to Newport the week before. So they'll be happy with it. They've got a big Christmas set of derbies against Quins, but Swansea they'd be up for theirs. Like I said, they hadn't won a game going into their games at Christmas last year against wait for John just to come back online. And then, yes, they hadn't won a game all season last season until their Christmas games when they beat Aberavon to start their winning streak.
Great. That's the first thing I hear when I put my headset back on. Here we fucking go.
So yeah, they'll take confidence and try and drive that, and I think that's going to be a bit of a motto.
They're driving me too.
Beverage number 2, and we
sorry for the listeners. I was just me pouring another beer because I need a couple now to get through listening to Rob.
Oh wow!
Sorry, Rob. Continue, sir.
I've said all I need to, but I've said all I need to.
Okay. We'll go with that to finish it off then. So that is last week's game all covered. Games, I should say. So as always, you made it this far. Like, share, subscribe, comment, call us dicks, agree with us, say what you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just come have fun. Enjoy the listen. So usually we do this on a Wednesday. We've waited for the Thursday in the hope against some team news, because we've got a Friday night fixture to discuss, but we've had nothing as of yet, which is very disappointing. But there's also the added caveat that next Wednesday is Christmas Eve, so we're really struggling to get a recording day sorted next week. So we're gonna just cover both weeks of the double headers in one.
Derby podcast.
So Derby podcast. So we'll do both games home and away instead of chatting them back and forth. Should we do that?
Yeah.
Sound like an idea?
Oh.
Okay. So we leave Swansea and Aberavon for last, just in case we do get a tidbit of news, and we can keep winding John up along the way. So I believe it's Cardiff Bridgend, the TV game this weekend.
Correct, sir. Cardiff
Bridgend. We will start there. Oh, Bridgend, not in a great vein of form. Cardiff, not they were lucky to win against Quins, but they were deterred a lot, but they still had so much firepower behind. I'm not seeing past Cardiff at home. John?
Yeah, I've actually done some research and had some notes ready for this, but I didn't know we were doing both fixtures, so this might be limited. But yeah,
you just swap it the other way around, but.
So yeah, I've got the head-to-heads for the last 10 games between these two sides, which Cardiff lead 10-0. So form is definitely with Cardiff for this one. Last 5 games at Cap is obviously 5-0 to Cardiff. Last time they played each other was a 31-19 win for Cardiff. And the last time Bridgend won against Cardiff was April 2017, 33-26 at the Brewery Field. And the last time they won at Cap was April 2016. So nearly 10 years since Bridgend have won in Cardiff. 38-24 that day. The bookies have got Cardiff favourites for this one, obviously. 1-12 for Cardiff for this, 6-1 for Bridgend, with -18 on the handicap for Cardiff, 10-11. You've got to think Cardiff. When you read all that out, you've got to go for a Cardiff home win, really, haven't you? But Cardiff are not in the best form by their standards. No, they've won 2 out of their last 5, but Bridgend have drawn 1 and lost 4 of the last 5. So it's not looking great for them either. So I can't really see past a Cardiff win for this one, with a good possibility of it being a 6-pointer, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about a good prediction, to be fair. Rob, for the Cardiff at home fixture against Bridgend, anything to add, or are we going all Cardiff?
Nah, it's all Cardiff, mate, isn't it? Although Bridgend did beat Cardiff in the cup last year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it is plausible. It can
Throwing
happen.
out the doubt. Throwing out the doubt here.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so we're all Cardiff for the home fixture. We're all home for Cardiff. So if we fast forward, they've all had their Christmas dinner. They're all feeling happy. You know, some people, there's probably an engagement or 2 for someone somewhere. It's Christmas. It always bloody happens. So we now come to, what is it, the 27th? Most of these fixtures are being played. So Cardiff then
I
travel
think it's
to
1 on Boxing Day. But...
Yeah, drove us, Quins. So 27th, Bridgend at home against Cardiff. Now, I really wanted to go for Bridgend in this one. Obviously, they are capable of winning. You know, they have beaten them recently, not in the league by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, I think there's just too much going for Cardiff and too much going against Bridgend the minute for me to not go for a Cardiff double. Rob, we'll bounce straight back to you before we come to our main man, John, to finish.
Yeah, make it a double, Matt.
Make it a double. And John, seeing as you're on your second pint on air and probably your 20th since you woke up.
Yeah, just on air, yeah.
Because
I was supposed to be working tomorrow overtime, but then it didn't get authorised at the last minute, so I've got a surprise Friday off tomorrow. So that's why I thought might as well have a couple of beers then.
Happy days, John is in the money. So instead of working, he's going to be, down the bookies, placing some bets for the weekend, And who are you going to bet on Bridgend against Cardiff?
We've got any prices for the second games.
No,
they don't go that far ahead. But no, like you, Matt, I was very, very tempted to go for Bridgend actually for the reverse fixture. With it after being Christmas and everything, everyone's fat and hungover and full. And I thought maybe Bridgend will deal with that a bit better than Cardiff, but I just can't bring myself to do it because I need to get back on with these predictions. I'm way too behind. Yeah. So I'm going to go for a Cardiff double as well, but I want to say Bridgend, but I'll go for a Cardiff double.
Yeah, I mean, the point does have to be made that these age grade fixtures, so Wales under-19s are playing England under-19s this Friday at Ystrad Mynach. I believe it's a 3 o'clock kickoff in the afternoon. So, common people that want to go can't go. So, John, if you fancy it tomorrow, you do have that option. But
we're
a lot of the
Pyle
under-20
Garden
boys...
Centre.
Again, he loves Pyle Garden Centre. So
this would actually see the garden centre and then go to Asda to try and find the wife's Pinot Grigio.
His job is hard. It is a hard one. So under 20 boys are expected to be available for some teams. Whether or not Cardiff will get all of theirs back or not, yet to be seen. But if you're imagining you bring Lloyd Lucas and a few more boys back into that, I it wouldn't be too far to stretch to say maybe Tom Bowen dropping back down. Now, you've got Lee Halfpenny and Cam Winnick playing for Cardiff again. So, there's options there. So Cardiff could be getting stronger. Newport RGC. That sounds like a fun one to go for. So Newport at home first. Obviously, they're back. I mean, they just put a shit ton of points on.
Yeah, all right, we know.
A decent-ish team. So it's hard not to say Newport at home. Before we get all the details, Rob, where's this one being won? Can I see? I mean, is this one being at Rodney or is it the City of Newport? Do we know?
Nah, it's City of Newport. I think they bullshit those anyway. But he loves
making friends.
Yeah, it's fucking Christmas. Stick it up, man. Nice.
No, they don't like it. They don't like it up them. We all know that.
Someone shouted that when Bridgend scored. They tried in the second half. And they were fucking 40 points down. They don't like it up, man. They were all stood
Oh,
across the other side. You could just hear one person shout that. And then Edwin scored another try.
Oh,
But
that's awesome. Fair play.
I think Newport are back. And I'll be honest, I think RGC have got a bit of a streak going, but I don't think it's good enough to be winning against an established team. I think we've seen them play against the established teams, and there's a bit of a difference. So yeah, I think Newport's. There's another double for me, Matt. There's another double.
Yeah, I'll be honest, mate. I'm on the double as well. So
Although the second game is on TV, RGC on TV at Christmas again.
well, to be fair, it's the only time they can get on TV. You know, they're not going to get on TV on a bloody Thursday night game, are they? It's a little bit unfair to expect them or anyone else to do it. Makes you wonder why they're in the league. I'm only joking. Only joking. John,
Up Division 1.
being as though we've just given all ours away, it's just you left. But tell the people, what can they expect from this game?
yeah.
Do the bookies fancy Newport that much?
That man is ready. Yeah. Form actually in the head-to-heads between these two surprised me when I was looking at it. The last 10 games, it's 6-4 to Newport. With the last at Newport as well, only 3-2 to Newport. So no, RGC have won there before. Last time these two played each other, though, it was a 62-7 win for Newport.
Ouch.
The last time RGC beat Newport was April 2022, and that was at Newport. And the last time RGC beat Newport was in February 2023, but that was at RGC. So it's a bit closer than I expected when I actually looked into the form between them. You know, RGC have won 3 out of the last 4, and with 3 out of the last 5, Newport have won 4 of the last 5. So it's a bit closer than you might think. But the bookies don't think that's all bollocks. They've gone 1-8 for Newport. They've gone 4-1 for RGC, and they've given Newport -14 on the handicap at 10-11. So the bookies reckon this is Newport win all day. And the way they go in, well, I can't not pick them after what they've done to us, because I'll be fuming now if RGC go there and win. So just purely on that, I'm going to say a Newport win for this one.
This is the most boring set of predictions I think we've ever done.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit of a problem having.
I think it's going to get more interesting.
Yeah.
His pants now.
I am. I really am. So, okay, you've said one Newport. Is it going to be a Newport double, or will RGC win it at home?
Oh, good shout, though. Didn't think of that. Now they've got their first home win, isn't it? Yeah,
go for it, John.
I will, actually.
Yes. I was
just to mix it up a bit. I played it safe on the last one, so I'll go for the reverse fixture. I'll go for an RGC win then, seeing as these two are closer than I thought.
Coming last in the prediction leagues, everybody. He's lost it now.
Now he's upset RGC as well.
Oh, okay. So we got some separation in these predictions. It's not all one way. So where do we go next? Ebbw Vale, Pontypool. I mean, let's go to Startman John. Is Startman John ready, or do we need to waffle for a little bit?
No, all ready to go. I've got notes and everything this week.
Just go for it.
Well, so the most drastic one with the form, we've got Ebbw Vale won the last 5 games, and Pontypool have lost the last 5 games. Only had 4 games to go back on with the head-to-heads, because Pontypool haven't been back that long, and it's actually 2-2 in the head-to-heads. The 2-0 to Ebbw Vale at Eugene Cross. Last time they played each other, it was a 34-3 win to Ebbw Vale at Ebbw Vale. And the last time Pontypool beat Ebbw Vale was December last year. So I don't know, is that an omen? But that was 23-16 to Pontypool at Pontypool Park. This is the biggest one I've seen this year, for the bookie so far. 1-18 for Ebervale to win this, and 7-1 for Pontypool. At -21, they're giving Ebervale on the handicap at 10-11. I think that's the biggest one I've seen so far this season.
Just one game.
So
it is getting fucking tasty.
yeah, it's Ebervale at home. You can't not back them, can you, against whoever it would be in the league? Never mind the bottom club. So it's Ebervale home and probably Ebervale away at the moment, the way they're going.
Ooh, John has come out with his double from the off. Now, Rob, are you going to back your own team here, home and away? I don't think you can, really.
Martin.
What?
Of course I can. The only reason Ebervale lost the Christmas game down there last year is because they had a player arrested wrongly.
Oh, here we go.
Off, and in outside half had to miss the game through injury, which left Griff Tough in his first season at this level playing fly half. Anyway, on to more relevant news. They then hammered Pooler in the return fixture, 34-3. No one worries about the other game. And it's already looking tasty. There's several hundred tickets sold already. Already pre-allocated. They're looking like a big crowd. And yeah, I'll be honest, I think this is going to be an interesting one because typically these two sides go head to head. It's forwards, it's grunt, it's set piece. This year, Ebervale are actually scoring some max tries. If you look past the hookers, they are. Dav Thomas got about 53 tries this season. Ewan Bowden's scoring well. Ethan Phillips grabbed another one against Bridgend. And Pooler's typically strong set piece is a bit shaky. So it'd be interesting to see how this all ties in with, Christmas derbies, local rivalry, all of that. The weather, I mean, the pitch is going to be heavy underfoot. We're due now basically rain tonight, and then it's going to sort of dry up until around 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. But the pitch is going to be very, very sodden. The council have been down there clearing culverts all fucking day. So, yeah, that's one of those. But I think that's neither to the benefit nor... Yeah, both sides are going to like that. Yeah. They are. And I'll be honest, if anything, it could make the kicking game very interesting. Like, Pontypool do have some form players. It's the usuals in the back row. Dan Hill has been playing quite well. Obviously, ex-Ebervale. Carrick's been playing well. Ex-Ebervale. So there's a bit of extra fibre there amongst many of the other Ebu rejects that went down to Pontypool. I mean, ex-Ebervale players that went down to Pontypool. But yeah, it's... I thought John had gone for another fucking beer then.
No, but I think my stool has been sinking.
Hell. Never done moment.
Getting heavier already.
CS, it is a double, Mart. Make it a double. Ebervale doing the double. They're going to retain the shield again. Then they're going to smash them down at Pooler Park. We're going to enjoy it. I've made sure I'm there. I'm ready. Big crowd. What's not to like?
Okay, so that's the start of a good crowd. Fair play. Let's hopefully we can get another 300 or so down there. I mean, people, if you got nothing to do I'm assuming that's the Ebervale home game, right?
Yeah. I don't think I've seen any link for the Pontypool tickets. So
20th of December, 2:30 kickoff. I mean, if you're anywhere from, let's see, if you're east of
Colwyn Bay to Cardiff, fucking be there.
East of Bridge, go to Ebervale. Let's pack it out, have some fun, watch Ebervale, get a nice comfortable 6-point win over Pontypool, think their dogs bollocks, and then get smashed by Pooler at Pooler Park the next week. Because I'm not going for the double. I'm not going for the double. Pooler are going to somehow manage it on their own patch. They're somehow going to do it. I don't know how, but they're going to do it.
You're on crack, Martin. You're on crack, son.
I mean, there is a crack in the chair, but that's... Okay, who we got left? Carmarthen wins against Llandovery. Oof. I mean, I think I'm gonna have to use some stats again because, I'm waiting on a couple under 20s boys to filter back in. I think
he's John. He's shitting.
I don't think you want to hear these ones if you fancy Carmarthen.
Rip into him, John.
So the head-to-heads in the last 10 games, you've got Llandovery 9, and the other one being a draw. So
there's a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance? The last 5 at Carmarthen Park are 5-0 to Llandovery. Last time these two played each other, festive derbies last year, it was close though at Carmarthen Park. It was 27-22 to Llandovery. And the last time Carmarthen beat Llandovery, you've got to go back to October 2017. It was 26-12 that day. Bookies have got this fairly close, mind. A 5-4 for Carmarthen, 4-7 Llandovery. So slight favourites, Carmarthen +4 on the handicap, 10-11. So
really,
yeah. Formed and Llandovery have won 4 out of the last 4 games, 4 out of 5, and Carmarthen have won 3 out of the last 5, but they've lost the last 2. So form tells you this is a Llandovery win, but I don't know. Because surely if Carmarthen haven't beaten Llandovery for 8 years, and it's also one of those stats. Well, you've got to feel that's got to end soon, surely. Llandovery though, I hate backing against Llandovery, but
you hate Llandovery.
It's what we heard.
So you know what? I'm gonna go for Carmarthen to break the duck on this one, and
yes, my boy.
I'm gonna go for a Carmarthen win at home, and then the following week it's going to be a Llandovery home win. Then, so yeah, the two they're going to split it. Two home wins.
Ooh, that is shocking. That's really, really shocking. So Rob's just gonna rip into me. So you know what? Honestly think the bookies going for Quins in this first game has surprised me a little bit. I did think it would be around that 1 score handicap. I just didn't think it'd be in our favour. So
no, it's not. Llandovery are the favourites. So it's 5-4 for Carmarthen and 4-7 for Llandovery.
Oh, right.
Carmarthen are +4 on the handicap. They've got the head start.
I've viewed it backwards. That's me being a dick, as always. But yeah, honestly, I think we get stronger into that second week just because I am expecting some of those 20s boys back, and they have been awesome. I'm hoping Steph Evans, Roger Davis, like I've already said earlier in the pod, are back. I think we'll have a better squad going to Drover. So I'm going for the Quins double. Let's go for it. Let's put these boys down where they belong, behind us in the table. Okay.
That's all right. I needed to catch up on the predictions anyway.
Right, so John's put his beers down. Obviously, Martin's picked his fucking bong up. So this fucking move on.
That is, but that went years ago.
Well, it's quite appropriate that this time of year people stuff turkeys, because that's what Llandovery are gonna fucking do. They're gonna do a double over Quins. You love a good stuffing, Martin, don't you?
I do love a good stuffing, but not in that way. But it might be the other way around.
No, it's not going to be a Quins double, but it's going to be a Llandovery double. They're into their own. They've got some big games coming up in the new year. Once they get these little derbies out the way, that's the proper
little derbies, dickhead.
We've rattled him. We've upset the entirety of the 600 people that live in and around Carmarthen and Llandovery.
He's on one tonight. He must have a checklist.
Oh, wow. He's like, you know what? I've been put on the naughty list for the 77th year in a row. Yes, that's right. I'm almost 80. So let's really take everyone down with me while I'm at it. Okay. No team news out for Swansea or Aberafan. You're letting us down, boys. You really are. The only sort of ish news we can say is that, what's your back rower, John? Gwilym Evans?
Gwilym Evans, yeah.
Yeah, he's still not available because he's with the Ospreys. That's about as far as the team news. That's as far as the team news has gone. So I'm going to make this nice and quick. I'm going to be a homer.
Don't do it.
I reckon Swansea, they're going to take it, in a nice. But I'm actually quite confused by this because obviously they've been playing a Dunvant because obviously St. Helens is under whatever construction that is apparently going under.
Yeah.
But I've
Even
just
though it's
seen
not.
that. Yeah, but I've just seen that there's a game today or this weekend being played there. So
Ospreys under 18s and Bristol under 18s. Yeah.
So
played last night.
Oh, last night then. So why are they not playing this terrible news?
Well, apparently it was behind closed doors, that game, in the end. So for whatever reasons of what's going on at St. Helens. But but surely they haven't even started. Well, they can't. They haven't started redeveloping it, have they? Because no one knows what's going on. So surely Swansea could still be playing there.
To be fair, they should make every Ospreys game behind closed doors the way they're fucking playing. Yeah, it's upsetting more people. Go on.
Out in France.
Go on. Yes, that upsetting more random people on the SRC podcast. Go on.
Well, I'll be honest. I think they'd have a chance of a higher attendance if they went behind closed doors. We all got to get in there. Throw in saucepans. I like it. Okay. Shall we hear Rob first, or do we want to hear some numbers? What do we say?
Numbers. Let's hear some numbers. I want to hear some really bad numbers for Aberafan about how Swansea kickstarted their season last year. John?
You know what? If Swansea aren't given a 66-point start, I don't know what's going on.
Well, no, we tend to do pretty well against Swansea. So statistically, this is going to sound pretty good for us. The head-to-heads, Aberafan lead 7-3 in the last 10 games. Obviously, but at St. Helens, well, even though this isn't, but of the other ones were, the last 5 at St. Helens, so it's 3-2 to Swansea, including that one from last December. But Aberafan, their last win was the week before against Swansea, 26-0. The last time they won at St. Helens would have been the season before, 38-32 in October 2023. Form, we look at similar form with one win for Aberafan in the last 5 and 1 win for Swansea in the last 5, 1 win and a draw. So form's pretty similar, but bookies have got Swansea as favourites for this one, 4-11 and 2-1 for Aberafan, -8 for Swansea on the handicap at 10-11, and I guess this is going to be a close one, but I think I'm just going to be blind optimism. Aberafan have to have a reaction after that game. There's no other option. They can't follow that up last week with another loss, and especially against a team that they do historically do very well against. So I'm going to go Aberafan double on this one because they have to go tomorrow night and win this game, or it could be a very long end of season. It's going to be a close one. It's not going to be, it's not the best place to go and play rugby at this level, but it's not going to be nice conditions, but it's going to be tough. This could go either way. It could easily be a Swansea win, but I've got to back my Wizards. I've got to back them. They've got to come out and with a reaction to that defeat against Newport. So, and I think they're going to want to. I think they probably can't wait to play this game to put that right, and that's what I'm hoping for. So, a blind optimism and Aberafan double for me on this one, especially a week later at the tag. We don't lose to Swansea at the tag. So, yep, 2 Aberafan wins for me.
There we go. So John has gone for an Aberafan double. He thinks they're going to pick up 2 points from these fixtures. Rob, finish us off, my friend.
I think it's going to be a bit more open this year than we typically have had. I've been looking actually, and it looks like it might be 23 years, coming up 24 since Aberafan last paid a visit to Dunvant. Obviously, we're playing.
Yeah, would be around that. Yeah.
But yeah, I got a feeling it's just going to be one of those like the home wins out. Like you said, I don't think Swansea
copycat
win at tag. Quin's a shit. Oh, sorry, what was that? But And there's more question marks over the Broadacre game, I'll be honest. But I just feel like at the moment, there's such an open game that if Swansea get in there, yeah, I think they've just got enough. But it could be actually quite entertaining set of fixtures, I'll be honest, the way either side are defending at the moment.
So, to avoid any uncertainty or doubt, who's winning Swansea v Aberravon at home? Who's winning Aberravon v Swansea at home?
Swansea win at home and Aberravon win at home, Martin.
Because
as
you're
I said,
definitely a copycat.
Yeah, because I
Absolute
hate
copycat.
as I said.
That is it. That rounds us up for this Christmas period. Just the new year to look forward to now, boys. Woo! Well, it's been fun. It's been fun coming back. We've had a little dance. So we've done our predictions. We had a laugh. So let's talk a bit more seriously. Swansea Aberravon on TV. I think this is probably the best choice of the games from this round.
Is it on TV?
Not Swansea Aberravon, Cardiff Bridgend, sorry.
Oh,
Swansea Aberravon
come on,
Friday
what's
night.
up then? I was going to be my Friday night sorted then because I'm not driving a Dunvant.
I said it early. I said it earlier, didn't I?
God,
I said earlier, Cardiff Bridgend.
Oh, I can't remember that long ago.
Cardiff Bridgend. It's because of the first one on my list, and it's always the first one that's bloody the Thursday night game. Damn you, rearrange fixtures. But no, I'm liking the idea of Cardiff against Bridgend on the TV. I think it's going to be a fun, entertaining fixture. This could be the one that sees. I know we made a prediction, so whatever happens, happens. You know, we all went for double Cardiff, but you know, I do reckon this could be Bridgend starting to show through now. Obviously, they got rid of their forwards coach, you know, Sam Williams, because he was really, really poor to Aberravon. I don't know why they picked him up. Only joking, my friend, only joking. But no, like, we saw Bridgend's
forwards. Getting away from anything this week. God.
Sorry, Sam, if you are listening. We're just taking a piss. But no, we saw Bridgend's pack have a bit of an uplift. This could be a real fun, entertaining game, especially if Cardiff are, you know, lower numbers again. It's going to be great. I mean,
none of us picked Swansea to beat Cardiff at Cap, did we? So
no,
you know, stranger things have happened.
None of us picked Cardiff to beat Quins last week either. Probably should have when the team sheets came out, Mike. But less about that better.
That was obvious, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's going to be a really good, entertaining Christmas period. You know, couple of cracking games to watch. There's a few regional games on as well if you really fancy watching them too. But yeah, are we all ready for Christmas? We all ready to celebrate into the night?
Yes, 12.
Oh yeah, I've started already.
He started last Saturday at about 4:30, didn't he?
God, I started last Monday.
Oh bloody hell! Okay, thank you everyone for listening. You've been with us this far. Just well done.
Well done to you all.
It is. It's a hard listen to us, boys. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie. Like I struggle to listen back to us, but that's because I'm just so amazing. All right then, boys. Thank you for being with me. If you're listening, like, share, subscribe, do your thing. Thank you for listening, and that is it for us until post Christmas now. So Nadolig Llawen.
Happy Christmas and a Merry New Year.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. And we're now going to stop recording. So goodbye, peoples.
Stay super.